Welcome to the Senior Citizens Talk of HICGI News Agency. All our viewers from around the world, beginning from Karachi in Pakistan to Kampala, where we are based, to the further ends of the earth, Oslo, Sydney, South Africa. Everybody joining us from South America. This is the Senior Citizens Talk of HICGI News Agency. My name is Kivumbi, Earnest Benjamin. Bringing you this show every Sunday, and has been one of the most watched and favorite shows around the world, making peak and covering personalities and topics in several countries that we keep traveling to. Today we are entering the United Kingdom. What's taking place, what is taking us there in the UK is the Climate Change Committee, where we're also going to be in position to look at one of the very vocal instrumental personality, Emma Pinchbeck. Before going to the Emma Pinchbeck, who's now the head of the Climate Change Committee, let us first see briefly what this committee is about. Originally, the name Committee on Climate Change is an independent non-departmental public body formed under the Climate Change Act of 2008 to advise the United Kingdom and developed governments and parliaments on tackling and preparing for climate change. The committee provides advice on setting carbon budgets for the UK government. Carbon budgets are designed to place a limit or ceiling of the level of economy-wide emissions that can be emitted in a 5-year period. And the reports regularly to the parliaments and assemblies on the progress made in reducing green emissions. And of course, these are very instrumental in the process that is made and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Notably, in 2019, the CCC recommended the adoption of a target of net zero greenhouse gas emissions by the United Kingdom by 2050. On 27th June 2019, the British Parliament amended the Climate Act 2008 to include a commitment to net zero emissions by 2015. The CCC also advises and comments on the UK's progress on climate change through updates to Parliament. The lady that you're just looking at is Emma. Emma is the head of the Climate Change Committee. Let us see, try to get a little facts about Emma Pinchbeck. Emma Pinchbeck was a student at King's School from an all-girls grammar school in Gloucester. She claimed to have always been particularly interested in how ordinary people live their lives during different time periods. To become a barrister specializing in human rights was Emma's life ambition. In outside world, Emma, like many girls her age, enjoyed going to the cinema, shopping, walking, the dogs, reading, listening to music, and writing. Unlike many girls of her age, Emma partook regularly in a wide range of sports such as netball, tennis, badminton, hockey, rounders, Danish longboard, and swimming. Emma's favorite school subjects were history, English language, English and literature, chemistry, and French. At King's, she received grade 1, the top grade for all subjects taken, and was congratulated by the uproar of applause from the pupils. Her parents and staff alike on the day of the results. She was indeed a fun, talkative, smart, and lively member of the class with many ambitions for the future, which she is well on fulfilling. This Emma that you're about to watch in our special podcast, in our special series tonight, actually worked as the CEO for the Energy UK in 2010. She stepped down in that position just recently to take up this special head now for the Climate Change Committee. Emma, like I've said, in January 2020, was appointed the Energy UK CEO, and she had led the trade association through a critical period that was incorporated the pandemic and gas price crisis, as well as 6 different secretaries of state. Over the past 4 years, energy has risen to the top of the news and political agenda, with successive government setting ambitious targets for the expansion of clean energy. Under Emma's leadership, Energy UK's membership grew up to with the trade body playing a very vital role, representing the industry all challenges such as ensuring the contribution and the continuation of critical services and our protection of essential workers during the pandemic, and putting in place support for the customers through a period of record energy bills. Emma also been very, very powerful in advocating for the economic as well as the environmental benefits for the transition to clean energy through the investment growth and employment that the industry brings up. Emma began now recently on 11th November 2024 as the Climate Change Committee head, after which the time NUK's Deputy CEO Dara Viez stepped down as the interim chief executive, of giving Emma the take on. Emma studied in Oxford University and holds a master's there. When she was appointed, she said, "It's been an honor to lead the staff of the Energy UK over the past 5 years, and our talented team will continue to deliver impactful work on energy whilst the association recruits new CEO." She said, "I am grateful to those who have supported me whilst I was juggling having 2 children, and for the council of my board and 2 chairs during difficult times. I will not forget the way that people supported the Energy UK's team, which we lost our deputy chief executive, the late Audrey." I'm excited to bring my experience and knowledge of a decade in energy to the challenge of decarbonizing our economy at the speed with tangible benefits to the people of the UK. There is a lot to do, and I cannot wait to get started. Those were words of David Lowes, chair of the UK, who was giving in Emma Emma, she described Emma. David says that Emma has been a formidable CEO because she's such a broad range of skills, a mystery of a complex policy area, superpowers of communication with both partners in the public and extensive work network across energy sector beyond, as well as the ability to build leading, motivated team. It is rare to find as such a personality. I would like to, before we get into Emma's presentation and our talk tonight, there was a very important interview Emma Pinchbeck had with powerful women in the UK. Emma was asked what gets you up into work in the morning. She just says, my two small children who might sleep past 7 a.m. one day but not yet, but I leave them to come to work because I enjoy leading the team at Energy UK, working on the solutions on climate change and learning new things about the energy transition. It feels important to be doing my bit to change how we make and use energy given the state of the world. She was also asked, what has been your greatest challenge so far? She says, I found out that I was pregnant with my second child around the same time as my then deputy Audrey found out that her cancer had returned and was terminal, and the energy crisis started. She died a few months before my son was born and worked for all of us the way we're through, and I'm not sure how the Energy UK made it through that period. Pache, the colleagues who knew her best, we were doing loads of media and were extremely visible. I even did question time, and we were working on the government design on the of the universal support scheme for the bills and on helping the sector just security of supply concerns after Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. I eventually went into labor the same night that I stopped working. I think I was just holding on to so much at work, and it was hard to admit I was having a baby. I got to have some time with my son, and the organization was there or has come stronger, larger, thanks to the efforts of the team, but we still missed Alet Lodri, Gala Obi. Then when she was asked, what a change would you like to see happen within the next 10 years? She says that it is possible that emissions will peak and start declining by 2030. So I would like to see enough renewables displacing fossil fuels, particularly coal in Asia, to come online in the next 5 years to make that possible, and enough action on government policies across the world that the decline after 2030 is rapid enough to be below 2 degrees of warming. In the UK, this means a rapid electrification and a lot more to clean power. And let us therefore get to understand this presentation. Will come once again our viewers from all over the world.
Spirit alive to show to the world that we are discussing here things for today and for the future and for the more vulnerable people, because people deserve our attention and people deserve our action. And thank you, UK, for doing that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Manuel. So keep the spirit. Things are possible. Send the signals. Brilliant. Emma Pinchbeck, congratulations, Emma, on your exciting new position. I will invite Emma, who is the new CEO of the Committee on Climate Change. Welcome.
Hi. I was told absolutely not to joke, but thank you for this party to celebrate the end of my first week in the job. So I've made that joke. It won't be the first of many times that my comms team and staff are like, The Committee on Climate Change, or the Climate Change Committee, as I've been told they're now called. Things have changed in 10 years. It's the independent advisory body to government on both the domestic carbon budgets in the UK, on adaptation measures, but also, importantly, on that NDC that we've heard so much about. And whilst we're independent of government, once the government accepts that advice, the delivery plans and the NDC become theirs. And so I think it's a real testament to the strength of that relationship that for some reason they've invited me to speak here and not destroy it on my first speaking gig. But I think we are really proud at the committee to have been part of that process, and not many people get to launch an NDC like day one on their new job, and it is just amazing to hear that reflected back, and I agree, I've heard it everywhere I've gone. If you don't know, the NDC is obviously 81% by 2035, and crucially, we at the CCC do the underpinning analysis, so that is what we're expecting other countries to do, or equivalents to be in line with 1.5 degrees of warming. We were the first country in the world to make that 1.5 degree target of Paris part of our domestic policy, and that NDC has been designed in line with what we expect the UK to be doing back at home. The other thing, though, that's come back to me from COP is that we're really good at the boring stuff in the UK. This might surprise you, given the amount of alcohol we're serving, but we're really quite good at the dull stuff. And the governance piece, that kind of leadership and how you implement ambitious targets, is something that we hear a lot, and I have been delighted to discover in the 10 years since I worked for WWF and was last working the carbon budgets. There are now 25 other institutions like the CCC in countries all around the world. And some of them are doing very similar things to what we do, but some of them are doing different things, working on adaptation or just transition, and it's been the most amazing exchange of ideas. And people can get cynical about COPs, but surely part of it is getting together and working out how to do this stuff, and I've loved it. Can I also say I've particularly, and there is nothing funny about the situation in Ukraine, other than they are the only people legitimately allowed to worry that their finance ministry might have other priorities than climate change. And it was reassuring to find out that even in Ukraine that is something that like climate change policy people go, how do we get the Treasury on board? And in their case, they're really excused. I think it's okay for it to come further down the list. I want to shout out to some of my team in the room, and in fact the UK delegation as a whole, because I've mentioned that governance piece. The experts are in this room. Dr. Emily Nurse told me not to do this, so I may as well, but she is a big part of the Secretariat doing the analysis on our next carbon budget and the NDC. Ask her about how that went. And I'm handing over, luckily for all of you, I'm going home tomorrow, I'm handing over to Piers Forster, who's the chair of the committee, and again, has massive expertise on how you do this, but also the UK civil servants who are here, not just doing the negotiations, but who absolutely know how to implement carbon budgets, design policy. And my equivalent in the department, the person I work with closely, Liam McDonoghue, is here with her team. So catch us and ask us if you're interested in how you turn this into policy. We're now in the delivery phase in the UK, and we've, because of all that boring governance stuff, halved emissions. We're the first country in the world to demonstrate that you can grow your economy and tackle climate change, that economic decoupling. We're the first country in the world to phase out coal from our power system, and that happened in October, just in the run-up to COP, and I think that is it. I think particularly important because this was the country that drove the last industrial revolution, where coal was such a big part of our industrial heritage. So to do it, to keep jobs, to demonstrate that you can power your economy with different technologies, I think is an amazing success story. And we've done that in delivery mode by doing it in combination with businesses. So you'll see the UK Pavilion has a list of UK businesses. I think the UK government has been clear that this is like a collective effort, and we have to do it with stakeholders and businesses, with civil society, and all of you in this room. And because we're in the delivery mode, phase, we absolutely know that. I thought I'd finish by telling you a little bit about how I got here, and my story is really connected to coal phase out. because when I worked for WWF, I was part of the big group of activists campaigning for coal phase out. I wasn't someone who climbed a power station, just officials who were already like, I can't believe we asked her to speak. I was though part of the team working out how we could do it and pushing government to do more, and it was in an era where there was again this feeling that maybe climate change action was difficult. It was after the last economic shock. In the run-up to Paris, I think I said in the January that I would eat my shoes if we got an international agreement, let alone one with 1.5. And we were pushing for coal phase out because we thought it was the best that we can get in a kind of cynical age. I then went, when we got coal phase out, to work for renewables, because the UK government, after that 1.5 degree target, sent a market signal right around the world where businesses, where civil society and where the government realised we had to turn that promise into commitment. We got the world-leading UK renewables auctions, we built our offshore wind industry, and we started to work out how to turn off coal. And I went to work for the energy industry, and that's where I've been for the last 4 years. I think now the job is at the CCC to turn what was an environmental campaign into government policy, into business success story in other areas of the economy. And that will be the challenge of the carbon budget that we will be announcing in the UK next year. And that will mean working again with all of you to figure out how we do it. So it's my first week on the job. It has been incredibly inspiring. I've been drinking Singaporean beer. And I should probably stop there, but I think this pavilion has been a real statement of intent about what the UK is about, and we certainly don't intend to pull any punches in the next carbon budget. And I look forward to working with all of you to deliver it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Emma. A whoop for being the people that do the boring stuff well, but and collectively. So our final speaker is Matthew Phillips, the leader of Groundswell. Matthew, please.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Emma, most impressive first week on the job of all time. Wow, so intimidating. I've been reflecting a lot in the last 24 hours about the news cycle that broke out around the fit-for-purposeness of this process. And when I read that, felt quite defensive, because I've been working with Manuel and many in this room for 10, 11, too many freaking years, frankly. But actually, the process is working. You know, we know that pre-Lima, pre-Paris, we were on an above 6 degree trajectory. We've now got that down to 2.4 degrees, and yet all of the press yesterday was saying that this process was moribund. And actually, one of the bright spots for me has in fact been the UK's NDC, and the fact that it is putting itself behind a target which is actually matching the Paris ambition, which is amazing, alongside Brazil. And I think we should celebrate that amid the doubters and the naysayers. And in fact, I've been working as part of Groundswell with many business groups, civil society leaders in this room behind an effort to support the Paris Agreement. We've actually launched a call to action today to the G20, because we feel like the G20 needs to send a signal back to Baku that this process is not broken, that next week can still deliver. And we're saying governments of the G20 need to submit their ambitious national climate plans in line with the UK and Brazil, and we need to see a strong outcome, of course, on finance. I, for one, still think we can do that. I don't think it's game over here. I think it's very much still game on, and I'm so delighted that the UK has actually given me a bit of pride in that belief. So thank you.
A massive round of applause for 4 fantastic speakers. Have a lovely evening and a great second week. Thanks then.
It's very fun. How are you today? Very inspiring. Yeah, I'm going
From the Eastern Pavilion, there's been strong messages about the United Kingdom to
the rest of the world about climate change. United Kingdom has proven that it's been working so hard towards climate change and improving law and influencing other nations of the world. My name is Kivumbi, Earnest, Benjamin, of HICJ News Agency.